Now, Qatar has said a series of demands made by several Arab states to lift a crippling blockade were made to be rejected in the worst rift in the Arab world in years.
Yes, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Egypt and the UAE severed ties last month, accusing it of supporting terrorism. Well, Olivier Guita is a security consultant who's advised NATO and the EU, and he joins us live in the studio. That deadline then looming, how likely is it that, well, that Qatar will accept it?
Qatar from the beginning said that they wouldn't accept it. What is interesting is that those demands were made by those same countries about 2.5 years ago when the last crisis in the Gulf happened. They were made quietly and Qatar complied to it, but then turned around and didn't follow up on its promises. And now it's been 2.5 years and some countries in the Gulf are saying enough is enough. And they get the backing of President Trump, which pushes them in a way to be much more aggressive against countries that they feel are closer to Iran, because Iran is really the reason behind this crisis, much more than terrorism. You have to remember that this crisis took place right after it was revealed that Qatar paid a $1 billion ransom to mainly Iran-backed Shia militias in Iraq to free 26 Qatari royals, and this didn't go down very well with other countries.
But what are the implications if this is not resolved one way or the other? I mean, because it's implications for the region, but also, I mean, the global implications could be pretty big, couldn't they?
Yes. I think down the road, somebody is going to have to give in. There's going to be a face-saving solution because it's not in the interest of the region to be battling this way. What is interesting is that the UAE ambassador to Russia last week announced that they could cripple and up the sanctions by targeting countries that are actually doing business with Qatar. And that puts the West in a very, very difficult situation to basically make a choice between the Saudi coalition and Qatar.
And of course, there's so much Qatari money here in the UK, isn't there? Just going back to what you were saying about the links with Iran almost being more problematic in the region than any links to terrorism. Are they unfounded, those accusations then?
No, but you have to remember that in a way, Qatar, compared to other countries, have to have good links with Iran because most of their revenues come from gas offshore, and one of the big gas facility is shared with Iran. So they have a tough time, playing nice with both sides, and that's what Qatari diplomacy has been doing. I think what's changing is that there's a much closer relationship between the Qatari and the Iranians in that larger proxy war that Saudi is waging with Iran.
How do we view the arguments being made on both sides here? Because you say Donald Trump has weighed in, he's made his position clear. I mean, Qatar, as we said, has said that the list of demands made to it were made to be rejected. So for trying to take a neutral position on this, is it possible to say whether the negotiations, the demands so far have been, even remotely possible to achieve?
Some of them are possible to achieve, and some of them were accepted by Qatar 2.5 years ago. The difference is, for instance, when you talk about Al Jazeera 2.5 years ago, the Saudi had asked for Al Jazeera to tone down its criticism of the Gulf monarchies rather than closing it down altogether. I think that, unfortunately, Qatar has been playing coy with those countries, and now it's been revealed that they haven't followed up. Qatar time and again has said that they would deport the Hamas leadership, I don't know, countless times, and they haven't done so. This is something that they can do easily.
And just a final thought on what happens next, because if this blockade continues, I mean, it's crippling Qatar, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. I mean, and in terms of the geopolitical view, I mean, it pushes Qatar into the hands of Iran and Turkey. So it makes it even more of an antagonistic position. But as I said, I'm optimistic that, in the next few weeks, there will be some kind of resolution. They just need to find a face-saving solution for both sides.
Okay, they've been good to talk to you. Yeah, thank you very much indeed.